Good evening, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I welcome Ms. Jasleen Kaur Gujral, and she will talk about how to start beekeeping, bees and their byproduct. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Myself, Jasleen, and I am the founder of MELFLORA, the Beescraft, where I provide pure honey, raw pure honey, which is filtered. And in this presentation, I will be showing you how I started my beekeeping journey, and how you can also start, and what are the other benefits you can take from the honey. So I will start what the beekeeping is. It's basically it is the process in which you manage the bees and the bees colony in a such a way that you are able to take the full your what do I say like it is basically managing the bee colonies in order to take the benefits of the bees, like just to extract the honey, the beeswax, these propolis. These are the byproducts which you get when you manage them properly. So it's basically managing them. So beekeeping is also known as apiculture. Apis means bees in the science language. So, the role of the beekeeper in order to manage the beehives properly is to ensure that the health and productivity of bee colonies is very well maintained. The habitat of the bees should be in such a way that they are protected from the bees and diseases at all times, because these are the main enemies which harms the bees. Then the other role of the beekeeper is that they should know the proper training, and they should get the proper training in such a way that they are able to harvest honey, beeswax, propolis, and other such products which are beneficial to human beings properly. Then a beekeeper is also known as by the name of apiarist. That is the other word for a beekeeper. Now, apart from that, apiary is a location where where the bee colonies or the bee boxes are kept in a very a feet distance from each other, and it is located in such a way that they are able to get access to the flora, the air, and it can be from small ranging to a very large apiary. The next, we have different species of bees in India. The first is Apis dorsata, that is the giant yellow bee. Then Apis serena indica, which is native to India. Apis florea, Apis mellifera, which is the most commonly used bee, and that is the European bee. Then the last is Trigona erypenis, that is a stingless bee. And basically, apis means bees in Latin. So these are the 5 types of bees. Apis dorsata, that is the yellow color one. Then Apis serena, then Trigona erydipenis, Apis florea, and Apis mellifera. There is a difference in all the bees in terms of their anatomy. Like if you see the Apis dorsata, they have a very huge, like a large yellow color abdomen, as and a very black, a very less black under the sting area. Then Apis serena has all the black and white lines. Then Mellifera is sort of little bit blackish, but most of it is brownish in color. Now we'll talk about this bee colony and organization. So bee colony basically means a colony in which bees live, the bee boxes. So we divide the boxes with the frames. We keep the frame, and that is known as a bee colony or the bee family. So in all the bee colony, like in all the bee boxes, there is always one queen bee. There are thousands of female worker bee and few hundred male bees, which I'll be later talking about what are those different bees. In a healthy bee colony, in healthy bee colony, as in we mean a strong colony where the bees are in such a way that any pest or any diseases which come inside the boxes, they are able to fight and they're able to live properly. Okay. So now I talk about the organization. In like in the bee boxes, there is always one bee queen, and she is the only bee which lays eggs. Okay, so she lays eggs approximately 1,000 to 2,000 eggs in a day. Per day, she lays that much eggs, and she has the life of 2 to 3 years. Now, the worker bee or the female bee, it's basically it is the main bee in that box which collects the nectar and converts the nectar into the honey. So the main role is to feed the eggs, the larva, the pupa, then guard their boxes, then clean their the hives in which the queen bee will be laying eggs. Okay, so maximum age of the queen of the worker bee is 6 weeks. Then drone bee. Drone bees are the male members of the family of the bee family, and their only job is to mate the queen bee during her second flight. Like whenever the queen is born, so she takes basically two flights. First is the orientation flight, like she gets familiar with all the areas around, and second is the mating flight. So during her second flight, she gets mated with the drone. And the maximum age of the drone or the male bee is also 6 weeks. Now, in this, I have shown the classification of bees in the Apis mellifera world. So, because this is the most common bee which the people in India, which the beekeepers in India basically they are using. So, mostly in the north side, if you see, Apis mellifera is being used, and in the south side, it's Apis cerna indica. So, the queen bee, which I just recently told, the queen bee, she has a very long abdomen. If you can just see the structure, and the drone on the right side, which is the male bee. Then on the left side is the worker or the female bee. She is responsible for all the cleaning, all the feeding, all the nursing, all the guarding, and collecting the nectar from the flowers and converting it to honey. And queen lays the eggs. Now, this is the life cycle of the bees. So first, the queen bee lay eggs. So egg is basically a very, very tiny form of like it basically looks like a rice, a piece of a rice. Then it converts into larva, then larva into pupa, then pupa into adult. Once the bee has become adult, the worker bee or the female bee then cleans the cells and prepares for the queen bee to lay another eggs. Okay. Now, in order to start the beekeeping, you need few equipments so that you ensure that you are at a maximum safety for yourself, and you don't get those things during the harvesting of the honey or while inspecting the bees. So first you can see that there is a bee veil and the bee jacket. So at times what beekeepers do, either they take the bee veil or they get the whole suit. So this is the bee veil which protects you from bees giving you sting. Then gloves so that you properly are able to lift up the beehive and not get the sting of the bee during the operations of using the hive and inspecting it. Then the red one you see is the beehive tool, which is basically a tool which helps you to remove the hive, because the propolis or the resin which the bees extract, they gets collected together and the hive sticks together. So next is bee brush. Bee brush is basically used during the harvesting time when you're harvesting the honey. It is basically used to brush the hive. The bees, when you take out the hive, there are lots of bees around the hives. So in order to remove them, we use the bee brush, which has very, very soft hair, like horse hairs, so that it doesn't pinch the bees. Then you have the smoker to smoke the bees so that they calm down and you're able to perform the operations smoothly. Then there is wax remover. Then there is unseal knife cap. Then you have your feeder, which is given during which is attached with the bottle, so that they are giving the feeding during the dearth time. So these are the few basic equipments which you need to have in order to perform your task carefully during the beehive operations. Now this is the another beekeeping equipment. Left is the beehive box and right is your extractor. So extractor is basically the uses a centrifugal force in order to extract the honey. So the hives are placed in the hollow gap. If you can just see the gaps which are made, we unseal the wax of the hive, then put it inside the shallow space made for them. Then it is rotated at a very nominal speed so that all the honey inside the hive is being extracted through the centrifugal force. Then left is the beehive box where the bees are stored. The lower board is the brood chamber. The upper one is the super chamber. So the brood chamber is basically where the bees and eggs are stored and also along with the honey. And super chamber is where only the honey is stored, no eggs in it. So next we come to the seasonal management. In order to have a very good, strong and a healthy colony, management of the bees is very important, and at all times, because at times there are things becomes very difficult for them to manage because they don't have food to eat. Then at times they get diseases, you need to feed some medicines to them, little bit medicines to them. So here I have just listed out three very important seasonal management which needs to be thoroughly taken care of during those times. So first is the summer management, second is the winter, third is the monsoon. Now in the summer management is basically done in order to provide them with because it's a dearth period basically. So in order to provide them and make them survive during the intense heat, you need to follow these particular points. Try to put the boxes in such a shade, in such a way that they are able to get a sufficient shade. They are under a artificial structure or under the trees so that they don't get the direct heat. Then you can put gunny bags, the jute bags basically, which are soaked in a little bit of water and put on top of the cover so that they get relief from the your heat, and the temperature inside the box lowers down. Then since summer management is basically that time of the time which is considered to be a dearth period, so during that time, there is no flora available for the bees to go. There might be little, but it's not sufficient for all the bees, to perform their actions efficiently and to provide the bees eggs. So for that, you need to provide sugar syrup, which is basically sugar and water in an equal proportion, which is boiled together. And once it cools down, you can pour that through a feeder, and the feeder can be kept inside the boxes where they can take the syrup and they can meet the requirements of the your food. Then there should be enough water because during summertime it's very hot, so fresh water is very necessary for them to have an access. Then if you find your boxes to they are reducing in the bees, so you need to reduce the hive so that they have ample amount of space to move around, and they have ample amount of the temperature inside also reduces down, because more the hives, the more difficult it's for them to work, because it becomes very humid and congested inside the box because of the intense heat. Then try to grease the stands whenever the boxes, when you have the boxes, it is basically placed above the stand. So the stands should be greased in such a way that no insect or the ants are able to climb during that time. And so that they are prevented from any kind of diseases. Also, just last point in the summer management, that in the summer management, since food is not available, and if in case you're not able to manage them properly, they will swarm. So swarming is basically when the group of bees, they move out of the box and they leave to other place where they are able to find the food. So in order to prevent and control the boxes, you need to manage them properly. Then in winter management, so in winter management, in most of the states in India, it is considered as a honey flow season. So in order to get the most of the honey during those season, you need to maintain the boxes free from diseases. You need to make sure that they are strong. Then, if in case you see any boxes, any other bee boxes that is, reducing in numbers, or if in case it doesn't have a queen, which is the main family member of the queen. So you need to provide a queen by simply putting a fresh eggs hive from other boxes and place it inside that box. So thereby you are able to unite those colonies with a strong. And also make sure that they are not they are placed in such a way that even they're able to get the sunlight. Then monsoon management. So monsoon management is that time of the period when again, which is almost like the summer management, and it's basically that time when they are able to swarm off and they are not able to have sufficient food. So the humidity during this time increases. So in order to provide relief, you need to basically clean the brood boxes. Brood boxes is basically the lower part of the box where the eggs and the honey is being made. So that needs to be cleared because little bit of debris which the bees bring with the legs, with the hind legs, that becomes clustered around it. Make sure that the surroundings are clean. They are the grass which grows because of the monsoon. They needs to be cut down because they can provide a hamper free circulation of the air. Then feeding is very very important, and also try and see that if there is any weak colony, you can unite by giving the strong colonies height to that weak colony. Also, since monsoon management is so much necessary because ants, specifically ants and wax moths, a kind of a insect which comes inside the bees boxes because they get the space to lay the eggs. So they need to be controlled by keeping the surrounding clean. This was the management of the bees during these 3 seasons. Now, this is the enemies and diseases of the bees. So we have basically 5 types of diseases: viral, bacterial, protozoan, fungal, and mites. So viral, we have thigh sac brood. In bacterial, we have American and European. In protozoan, we have Nosema and Amoebic. In fungal, chalk brood and stone brood. And in mites, we have aramite. So since my start of the venture, I have experienced varomites as well as the wax moths. So basically, I'll just explain you in detail, like in short, what basically these are diseases and how you can control them. So the insects of the bees are wax moths, like I just talked, black ants, and the predator wasps. So the left side is where the bees are being infected with the mites. So this is the mites. Then on the just next to that, it is a thigh sac brood, where the hive get infected through the insect, where the larva of the bee gets filled inside the sac and they are not able to become adult properly. Then just next to that is the wax moth insect, which I have also faced it. So what happens is this wax moth just enters inside the hive. That is not the strong hive, but the weak hive. They enters inside the boxes and they lay eggs around all the hives. And then once the eggs develop, they eat up all the bees' eggs, and then the colony gets destroyed. Then next, here we come for the floral calendar. So floral calendar is basically where which tells us when is the nectar and pollen available, like which month, which state, and how long the flowering period will last, and which all state has those flowers. So basically, floral calendar helps the beekeeper for the migration in order to extract whatever honey they are able to extract through that flowers. So it is a very, very helpful resource for the beekeeper. Now, for the cost of starting a beekeeping. So in this, I would just like to say that for the starting of the beekeeping, when you need all the equipments, the cost of that equipments vary from differ to differ. So like, for example, in my state, it will be like the bee box cost will be 1800. So in South, it will be like 2000 or 2500. So the cost of beekeeping basically differs from state to state. So the following items need to be taken for the starting, like bee equipments, which I recently, like on the previous slides, I just showed you what all equipments you need. Then bee boxes set, which has frames, which has the stand of the bee boxes, the cover, then bee frames, then location of the floral resources, basically where you want to keep, these all things need to be there when you want to start. So floral resource basically like the location where you want to keep the boxes. So in this beekeeping, Indian government is very, very rigorously, giving up impetus in terms of subsidies. They are basically started this honey mission, also known as the Sweet Revolution and Madhu Kranti by our Prime Minister. So basically, the main purpose of this is for the farmers to become independent and so that they have an extra income from their side. So for this subsidy, National Bee Board is responsible and they have all the policies regarding what percentage of each state should be getting. So then each state has their own percentage subsidy. Like for example, in my in my state, it's 30 to 35%. And in other states, it might be like 45%, 50%. So it totally depends on what are the policies of the states and the central as per the beekeeping. And if you want more information on the subsidies, then apart from the National Bee Board, you can also visit your own KVIC, Khadi Village Industry, Cottage Industries, or you can visit your district horticulture centers, the state district horticulture centers, which they will provide you more information on subsidies and how you can start if you want any information on them. And if you want to training also, they provide training also, which is free of cost. And also, it requires very less investment to start. You don't have to invest that much, and you don't, so that, your pocket is also not that much loosened up in terms of the investment. So next we come to extracting honey. So extracting honey is a very, very important part in beekeeping, where you have to make sure that when you're extracting it, all the important points are kept in mind and that you extract the honey to the fullest. So I'll be sharing the few points. Like extracting honey during the honey season is most important because bees are very active during that time, because nectar and pollen is widely available for them. So they are continuously moving out and going back, coming in. So make sure that you cover yourself fully before removing the hives. You should never ever go to the site without proper equipment. Then the honey extractor should be kept a little away from the hives, because after all, honey is sweet and honey is also the food of the bees. So once they get the smell, once they get, where the hive is going, where the honey is going, they'll follow you automatically. So it's better to play safe and keep the extractor a little away from the hives. Then secure the area or where the extractor is kept, secure that area this small net, like a mosquito net, and also keep a little space for the people to move in and around. So the main purpose of keeping the small net, placing the net around the extractor so that the bees don't go and don't interrupt the extraction process. Then, whenever you're extracting the honey, make sure that you use the sealed one. Like whenever you are taking out the hive, make sure that all the honey is being sealed. So, before extracting it, cut the wax, keep it separately, and then keep the hive inside the extractor and then extract it. Next, make sure the extractor is clean and dry, because even little bit of water inside the extractor can lead to fermentation. So make sure it is completely dry. Also, the point which I just said, that make sure that the honey is extracted from the sealed bags, because the uncapped hive has a lot of moisture in it. So once the wax has been sealed by the bees, it is to ensure, it is a proof given by the bees that now that it is safe for the extraction and there is less and less of moisture in it. Okay. Then whenever you are taking out the hive for the extraction, make sure that you always keep one hive which has full of honey and pollen for the bees as a food. Because if in case during that time any unfavorable weather turns out to be, they have at least for like a day or two to survive in that food. Okay. Then smoke around the bees, because smokes makes it easier for work, as smokes calms the bees down and you can easily do the work. Then filter the extracted honey with a muslin cloth or a strainer, and then you can pour it into the food grade container and store it for as per your requirements. Then next topic is the bee products. So honey is not only the product which we obtain from the bees. We have separate other products as well, and those are very very beneficial to human health. Now first is the honey itself. Then second is pollen. Pollen is the food which the bees basically bring with themselves when they visit the flowers. Then royal jelly, beeswax, bee venom, and propolis. Now, honey. Honey is basically the nectar of the flowers, which bees converts them with their enzyme, and then it is made into honey. It can be categorized as unifloral and multifloral. So unifloral means the honey is basically collected from one particular flower. Then multiflora honey, it's basically when the bee boxes is kept in such a location, that where you have other flowers as well, not only just one flower to get the nectar, but there are seven other flowers which have the nectar, and they collectively make it the honey as a multiflora honey. Honey, you can use it as a medicinal use as well as like a regular normal use instead of a sugar, because sugar has been refined in many processes and in many ways, and it has so many chemical processes going through. But honey is just the natural thing which has been brought by the bees. They have been collected by them, and then they have been made through their enzymes and in such a way that all the natural properties from the nature has been brought to you. So it's very good for you instead of sugar. Then price depends on the type of honey extracted, because at times there are certain honeys which have been extracted from such flowers which they have a very short flowering period, so that honey becomes very expensive. Then honey is extracted via honey extractor. So the honey extractor can be of also two types. One is of stainless steel and other is of galvanized iron. So initially people used to have galvanized iron, but now people are mostly preferring food grade stainless steel iron, because they don't get rusted and it is food grade. So it's better to have something food related extractor instead of just getting some other thing which has been rusted. Safe and sound, basically. Okay. So bee pollen. So bee pollen is basically a fine dust. So if you can see on the image, the bees' hind legs, they are carrying a yellowish powdery form. So that has been collected by the bees when they visit different flowers. So they become like a thick mass ball. So that is known as pollen. So they are the basically food for the bees, and they are also a sort of a food for the human also in the form of supplement, like a supplement basically. So the bee pollen becomes food after the mixture of saliva and the nectar by the bees. Now, pollen basically consists of vitamins, minerals, and carbohydrates, which are very, very good for your human health. You can have it like this, or you can just sprinkle on top of your salad or your curd. Then you can have it like that. So, in order to collect the pollen, there is a pollen trap, which is placed outside the gate of the bee box. So as soon as the bee is entering the box, the hive get their legs basically gets attached to their the pollen tray, and the pollen comes out of their legs and is collected in the tree. And once the beekeeper finds that they have sufficient pollen, they take the tray out and then they store it. First, they dry it and then they store it in a glass container inside the fridge. It also has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial activity. Also, just caution that many of the people are allergic to pollen. It causes them allergic reaction. So before taking any before taking any pollen, just make sure to just have a taste of it that you're not allergic to. The price of the bee pollen ranges from 300 to 1000, and also depends on the from which flower you're getting the pollen. So that also makes the price variation. Then propolis. Propolis is basically a sort of wax which the bees bring along with themselves when they visit the flowers. Okay, they mix them with their saliva and they used to seal the cracks inside the boxes. So it is a resinous product which is collected by the bees from various plants and mixed with beeswax and salivary enzymes. And next, it is basically, like I told you, it is used to fill the gaps, close the holes, so that any microorganisms and molds don't enter the hives. Then we can collect the propolis through the propolis sheet. So propolis sheet is a type of a sheet which is placed above the brood chamber, and whenever the bees are crossing that brood chamber, they leave that the resin, the propolis on top of it. And the beekeeper the next day can come and see the sheet. If in case he's satisfied with the propolis, he can just take it out, leave it to dry. Once it becomes hardened, you can just scrap it off. Then it's very useful for treatment of the wounds, skin ulcers, rashes, and in oral forms as a therapy of diabetes, obesity, cancer, and other conditions. So basically, most of the products, like as in the overall products of the bees, they are very, very useful to human health in terms of the medicine. And it has been using since long back. It contains, the resin composition is resin and balsam 55%, ethanol and scented oils 10%, and pollen 5%. We can use it to prepare the cuts, the wounds, basically ointment. So many people outside India, they are developing so many things out of this propolis, the pollen, the royal jelly, in terms of the medicinal benefits. The price range for the propolis ranges from 500 and above. Okay. Next is royal jelly. So royal jelly is basically a milk-like secretion from the medibular glands of the worker bee. Basically worker bee, not the drone bee. Because drone bees works is only and only to mate with the queen. That's it. Rest other work and everything is done by the worker bee. That is the female. So this royal jelly is basically a milk-like secretion which feeds the larva of the worker and drones. When, for example, royal jelly basically you can extract during the queen process when the
Hello.
bees are trying to make the
Hello.
queen. Hello.
Jasleen, sorry to interrupt you. There is some background disturbance. Can you please close the door or something?
Okay, just give me a moment. I'll just do that. Is this fine now? Hello.
This is fine. Please proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So, royal jelly is like a secretion which is given to the queen bee. So, once the worker bee or the female bees know that they don't have the queen bee inside their beehive, they try and make a queen cell. And to that queen cell, they feed this royal jelly. And it is given in larger amount so that it's helpful for the development. Royal jelly, so for the collection of the royal jelly, it is collected from the individual cells of the queen bee. Then we can use this as a dietary supplement and for the medicinal purposes. The color of the royal jelly differs from milky or light pale color. It has amino acids, lipids, carbohydrates, ash, vitamin A, B, C, iron and copper, and many other kinds of vitamins and minerals. So basically, the process how it's collected, it's actually sort of complicated, but I'll just tell you in brief. So whenever a queen cell is made inside the hive, the worker bees feed this royal jelly to the queen bee. And if that has to be done in a commercial scale, a grafting has been done where the queen cells are made, where the workers are there and they are preparing the queen cells. And in that queen cells, the milky excretion is there. They extract it with the grafting tools, and through that the royal jelly is collected. So if you see in the picture just next to the context, there is a larva, and around that larva is the milky white secretion. So that is the royal jelly basically. It is widely used in the cosmetics. Take a look, share. Okay. Next is the bee venom. So, bee venom is basically the venom of the bees, which is found inside the poison sac of the bee. So, whenever a bee is stinging, like whenever you get the sting of the bee, the the poison sac gets attached to the person's place where there has been a sting. So it's basically that venom of the bee, which is basically a defensive mechanism. So when 2 weeks old, the bees have the maximum venom in the poison sac. The venom has histamine, apamine, and hydrochloric acid, formic acid, calcium, copper, magnesium. These are the few components in the acidic forms which are found in the venom. These are basically used in the research by the cancer patients, for the cancer patients basically. And it's very, very, beneficial for the human health also. And it is used in the epitherapy. So in order to extract the bee venom, a small glass is placed just outside the bee box. And through that, an electric current has been passed through the copper wires. And a very, very minute current of 12 volt. 12 volt. So whenever they are passing it, they are, getting the shock, and your venom is excreted in the liquid form in that glass plate. And once it's collected, it's dried and it's collected in the powder form. It's very, very good for those people who have arthritis, rheumatism, for ointment, for injections, for cancer patients. The bee venom has been working very well, and people are, trying experimenting with this bee venom. Epitherapy is very very famous in the south side, and people are going for these therapies. So whenever you get a stung by the bees, the area, you get the allergy in the form of that area. As that area becomes inflammatory, it becomes your very very bright red in color. If in case you're not, if in case your whole body gets allergic, you can have an Allegra or an anti-allergic medicine within consultation with the doctor, and then it will be your allergy will be reduced in 4 to 5 weeks. The price of the bee venom ranges from 6,000 a gram and above. So bee venom is very very costly in the market, but it's very difficult to extract it. Then beeswax. Beeswax is basically secreted from the glands of the bees, which is basically used to make their hives. So whenever they are 14 to 18 days old, they secrete this wax, and through this wax, which is initially in the liquid form, and once it gets in touch with the air, it becomes hard. So produced by the young honeybees, and it is secreted when they are 14 to 18 days old. It is obtained from the cappings collected during honey extraction. So in order to get if you want the beeswax, you get it during the honey extraction. So you can just unseal the knife by cutting the wax. You get the wax which is removed from the hive. That is the beeswax. So you can just melt in the water and then you can strain it. The remaining portion will be the beeswax. So it is basically used by the candle industry. Then for preparing the comb foundation sheets, the sheet basically they hive for the bees. Then it is used by the cosmetic industries for making cold creams, for the lip balms, for the lipstick, for the pharmaceutical, for the perfume industry. So there are endless limits of uses of the beeswax, which the people can use and make it and earn money. Then the price of the beeswax ranges from 300 to 400 a kilo, and as per the conditions of the wax. So either the wax is sold in pellets or these small forms, or they are in like blocks. So like you can select as per your own preferences, as in how you want it. So that's all. This was the brief of the beekeeping and how to start. And if you have any questions regarding this beekeeping, you're most welcome. And these are my contact details. You can contact me, or you can even message me on my Instagram. And if you want to know anything about it, yeah, I'm there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jasleen, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now.
Yeah.
First question is, how do you choose the right location for beekeeping?
Okay. So for the right location, you first need to survey that area. Like you need to meet the people of the area and ask them what all flowers they have, like what all vegetation it's being grown. Because basically you need the flowers from which you get the nectar. So you need to ask the people like what all flowers are being grown, and then you can get to know about it. Then also for selecting of the location, you need to make sure that the area is such that they have the water supply as well, because bees need water. So these are the two things you need to keep in mind for selecting of the location.
Okay. What types of bees are best for beginners?
Okay. For beginners, since like I started with Apis mellifera. I am from north side, so like I was taught and I was told, like the practical training what I got is through Apis mellifera. So Apis mellifera is the best, like for the beginners to start. They are very less prone to diseases. They have a good production in the honey, and they give you the good production basically. So Apis mellifera is the best for the people who wants to start. And if in case they are from the south, then they will be more exposed to the Apis cerana, as most of the beekeepers are doing it in the south. So as a beginner, I would suggest that Apis mellifera is the best.
Okay. What is the best time of the year to start beekeeping?
Okay. The best time. So basically, each state has their own time of the when the flowering comes. So since as I am from north, so best time for me is during the winter time because I have mustard, I have multiflora, I have many other flowers, I have many other fruits from which I can extract. So it totally depends on where you are staying. You need to look up for the floral calendar, which is available online in the KVIC website, where you can see what the list of the flowers and the fruits available in that particular time, and accordingly you can just select the state, and then you can see what all flowers is available, and through that, if there is nectar or pollen available in that flower, and then you can start with that.
Okay. How do honeybees communicate and organize within the hives?
Sorry.
How do honeybees communicate and organize within the hive?
Okay. So communication is done through waggle dance and a round dance. So whenever if in case you get a chance to visit an apiary, you can just pick up the hive that bees are either moving in the round circles or they are flapping their wings. So that is known as a waggle dance. So waggle dance is basically done by those bees who have actually visited the field, and they know that in that particular area the flower is there, the nectar is there, the pollen is there, and they can get the ample amount of nectar and pollen available, and they can bring that along with them for to feeding the bees. So these are the two ways in which they communicate and tell the other bees that hey, you can go to that area and you can just get the pollen and nectar available in abundance. So these are the two ways of their communication.
Before I move on to the next question, can you please stop sharing the screen so that we can see your full video?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll move on to the next question. How often should a beekeeper check the hive?
Okay. It should be done at a gap of almost 4 to 5 days, because every day, so it's not possible. But if you're living just next to the site, you can go and visit every day. But it's advised to visit at least after 4 to 5 days, because every day there is a new things happening inside the hive. Every 24 hours, something or the new things are taking place. And the second thing, the queen bee should be checked after 15 days to see what's the position of the bee. If the queen bee is new or the old, if she's working properly or she's not working properly in terms of laying eggs. So minimum 4 to 5 days gap necessary.
Okay. What are the common challenges or diseases that affect honeybee colonies?
Diseases.
Yeah.
Okay. So since
And
I
what are
am
the common challenges?
okay. So first challenge during I'll just tell you about how I also face these challenges. So the first challenge is the management of all the seasonal, the summer, the monsoon, and the winter. These are the major challenges, because during summer management you need to keep the bees alive, by feeding them. You need to make sure that the colonies are strong so that they can help you to extract the honey during the honey flow season. So this is the first challenge. Then second challenge is that the bees swarm off easily when they are not given the feeding properly. So you need to feed them. You need to make sure that the feeding is done at a proper time, because within 24 hours, like within one day, they can finish the feed if proper thing is not available. Then the other challenge which I faced was during the extraction. That since in my state I am able to extract during the winter season, so at times what happened, that weather is not favorable in our term, in our favor. So it is either very chilly or it is either very foggy. So this year this happened to me. So because of that, I lost one and a whole month, and I was not able to extract honey. So this is the major challenge that we face as a beekeeper. Also, if they are not managed properly, they are easily able to get infected by the pests and insects, especially like the wax moths. So I have faced this a lot. Like they need to be properly managed. Their brood chamber, their brood chamber need to be cleaned properly. The area need to be cleaned properly. So these are the challenges which, as of now, as a beekeeper, I have faced.
Okay. What are the signs of healthy versus unhealthy bee colony?
Okay. The signs of the healthy bee colony is firstly the queen. The queen should be, the abdomen will be very long and pointed. She will be shining brightly in the dark brownish color if it is Apis mellifera, because I am dealing with Apis mellifera. So I can share my, insights regarding that. So bee should be very active. If you check the hive will be filled with eggs. That means the queen bee is very, very good. Then second pointer for the healthy colony is the colony will be strong and will be full of bees. Then third, that they will be actively going out for the nectar collection. So these are the three main basic points for the identification of a strong and healthy colony.
Okay. How can beekeepers ensure their products are I repeat it. How can beekeepers ensure their products are of high quality?
Okay, so for right quality, you just need to make sure that they are managed properly. That is the main thing, and they are given feeding at the time when the dearth period is there, and also make sure that your whatever equipment you're using, they are like for example the extractor, it is dry, it's not filled with water, it's properly dry so that your product is not fermented because of the honey. So, and make sure that also whenever you see that you want to extract the honey of a particular flower, okay, you need to make sure that even other beekeepers are not there, because what happens when the other beekeepers are there, the load of the bees become increases, so the bees are not able to extract the honey properly, like the nectar properly from the flowers. As a result, you won't get the honey properly. So these are the few things which you need to keep in mind in order to get a good product. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
What are the legal and ethical considerations in beekeeping?
Uh, that legal and ethical. So make sure that uh, your bees are okay. Dhanalakshmi, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, can this be cut?
That's okay.
Like,
That's okay. That's
it can
okay.
be edited because I'm not able to answer that properly.
That's okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe later you can tell us. Okay.
Yeah.
And can you just tell us about yourself? What made you take an interest in this particular field?
Sorry, I'm not able to understand.
Can you just tell us about yourself? What made you take an interest in this particular field?
Okay. So, in this field, I started during this COVID. So I did my online training via online application, in which I learned about the aspects of beekeeping, the management, everything, and I understood how we can manage and extract most of the things from them, which people are now realizing and now trying to learn this. After from the online, I did it via the district horticulture department, that is the state organized program, which they are focusing on empowering the farmers and person who take interest in the beekeeping. So during the COVID time, my interest started, and then I started my own beekeeping. I started with 2 boxes. I managed them for 1 whole year with the whole seasonal management, like the monsoon, summer, post monsoon, winter. And then after that, I increased to more boxes. So this is how I started my journey slowly and steadily. And right now also I am, increasing my boxes to more boxes. So yeah, this was my way of doing it. And I am from Uttar Pradesh, from the north, Prayagraj. Then that is where I am doing my beekeeping.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. Thank you very much. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Ms. Jasleen Kaur Gujral for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you so
most
much
welcome.
for. Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.